get off my plate.
Hello everyone out there in YouTube land! Today I'm starting a new series. It's going to be called Super Villain Biographies. And our first supervillain is an alternate version of Batman from Earth 3 named Owlman. We will take a look at different Owlmen from over the years in DC Comics, from his origin to his time in the New 52 Forever Evil series, and beyond that, so stay tuned. First off, Owlman first appeared in Justice League of America number 29 in August 1964, and he was created by Gardner Fox and Mike Zakowski. Originally, Owlman was an unnamed superintelligent supervillain who was created as an evil counterpart to Batman and is a member of a criminal organization known as Crime Syndicate of America, who originated and operated on the Earth 3. In some of the pre-Crisis Crime Syndicate appearances, the Earth 3 Owlman also has the ability to briefly control other people's minds, though it is unclear how he acquired this ability, and even if he is knocked out, his subconscious mind was able to remain active enough for him to say a word that enabled him to travel to Earth 3. So, he was also able to see in the dark, which, makes sense being named Owlman. In the first travel between Earths, when they met the Justice League of America and the Justice Society of America, they were defeated and imprisoned between Earth 1 and Earth 2 by Green Lantern. Later, though, a traveling supervillain named Perdegaton released them as part of his plan to take over Earth 2 by stealing the nuclear missiles from the Cuban Missile Crisis of Earth Prime. That sounds complicated. When the Syndicate betrayed him, they were sent to 1982. He had to make sure this would happen. If they touched him, he made sure this would happen. When he was defeated, all these events were erased from existence. And this is all pre-Crisis anyways. Pre-Crisis Earth 3 Owlman and all the members of the Crime Syndicate were killed off during the Crisis on Infinite Earths, as you probably know, at the hands of the Anti-Monitor and a wave of antimatter that destroyed all of pre-Crisis Earth 3. During the Convergence storyline, Owlman was with the Crime Syndicate when they tried to free Superwoman from death row. After their mission failed and the domes fell around the cities, Owlman shied away from the battles. The Owlman character was revived, along with his teammates, in the late 1990s, so over 10 years after they disappeared in Crisis, for the modern DC continuity in the graphic novel Justice League of America Earth 2. This Owlman was developed to be reflective of the modern readers with a far darker attitude and background than either of the previous Earth 2 and Earth 3 descriptions. On Antimatter Earth, Owlman is now Thomas Wayne Jr., and his older brother of that reality is Bruce Wayne. In the Antimatter universe, however, young Bruce Wayne was killed, along with his mother, by a policeman when Thomas Sr. refused to accompany him for questioning. Thomas Jr. escaped the crime scene with the hoodlum Joe Chill, whom he considered to be a hero. And then, Thomas Jr. grew up to become the Owlman. So it's really the opposite of Batman. Batman's parents were killed by a criminal, so he devoted his life to fighting crime. And in this storyline, Owlman's parents were killed by a policeman, so he dedicates his life to fighting law and justice and all that. So in the New 52 Earth 3 storyline, titled Forever Evil, in this continuity following DC's 2011 reboot, The New 52, Owlman is one of the members of the Crime Syndicate, and he arrives from Earth 3 at the conclusion of the Trinity War event. He is a crime lord on Earth 3 and became Owlman after his butler, Alfred Pennyworth, murdered his family. So that's yet another origin story. So it's a little different. On that one, his parents were killed by Alfred instead of a policeman, which is really really sinister because Alfred is always a father figure to Batman, so that's kind of interesting. And also in the New 52 here, Owlman is shown to have disdain for his parents due to his mother's abusive nature and his cowardly father killing his patients. Wow. So yeah, in this one his parents are pretty evil too, and his father was a doctor that killed his patients. So that's pretty interesting. I've heard a lot of good things about the Forever Evil storyline, and the art on it's really good. So after the Anti-Monitor and Darkseid are destroyed in a battle, as seen in the Darkseid War storyline, which also took place during the New 52, Owlman fled by teleporting using the Mobius chair, since Ultraman and Superwoman were both killed. Later, Owlman appears on the moon, where he was trained by Metron, who is one of the new gods, as I recall. Yeah, he's one of the new gods from New Genesis, you know, like Orion and the High Father and all those guys. So he was so Metron was the previous owner of the Mobius chair, and Owlman uses it to access the secrets of the universe, but he is vaporized when a flash of blue light flies out of nowhere from an unknown entity. So that's really interesting. So that's a brief overview of his run in the comic books. Now, Owlman has also been in other forms of media, including TV, when Owlman appeared in The Brave and the Bold episodes, Deep Cover for Batman, and Game Over for Owlman, and in film in the animated movie Crisis on Two Earths, and he's voiced by actor James Woods. In this version, he's a sinister and calculating strategist, and he's in a relationship with Superwoman, who is, you know, Earth 3's evil Wonder Woman, essentially, even though her powers are more like Superman's. So that's really a great movie, actually. It's one of my favorite animated DC movies, and I would highly recommend watching it if you haven't. And just as a side note, the clips I used in this video are from Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. So I think that's all for now. Just a brief video on one of my favorite villains. He is a very powerful villain because you think about Batman, he knows how to defeat every member of the Justice League, and he's very smart, so an evil version of him could do quite a lot of bad. So it's very intriguing. The other villain, named Prometheus in Cry for Justice after the Final Crisis series, that villain he isn't an alternate version of Batman, but what he does is he emulates Batman. He learns everything about the Justice League members and how to defeat them before he ever fights them. So he actually almost defeats the entire Justice League by himself on the Watchtower. So if you haven't read Cry for Justice, I highly recommend it. It's really good. And if you haven't read Final Crisis, you can still read it. I actually went backwards. I read Cry for Justice, and then Final Crisis, and then Countdown to Final Crisis. So that's all for now. Let me know what supervillain you'd like to see next. I was thinking about doing Solomon Grundy, but, you know, if someone requests a different villain, I can certainly do that one. And I guess that's all for now. And as always, thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe.
You're insane.
Does it really matter? There are alternate versions of me that you would find quite charming. From what I gather, we're very much alike. Everything about you tells the tale. Your attitude, your costume, your tactics. They all scream of outrage, despair, vengeance. What terrible wrong was done to set you on this path? It doesn't really matter. Nothing matters.
What are you planning to do? Talk me to death?
Actually, I thought I'd beat you to death. your flying man. With his strength, he might have had a chance, but you don't trust anyone else to do what needs to be done. I feel the same way.
If we're really alike, you know this is wrong. You must have been a good man once.
No, not good. Never good. After all, I'm only human. No more debate. I'm going to kill you now. Then, everyone else.
There is a difference between you and me. We both looked into the abyss. But when it looked back at us, you blinked.
It doesn't matter.